today is called Big Nuisance. And this story is written by Junko Morimoto. She is a Japanese author. Big Nuisance. A long time ago, there was a village known as Sleepy Village. Why? It was simply because all the villagers were so slow. They were slow in the morning, during the day, and at night. Even when they were working or eating, they were just so slow. The roads to the village were bumpy and the river hardly flowed. One peaceful night, the villagers were woken by a deafening sound. Boom, boom, boom. Something was stomping through the village. The houses rattled and the trees shook. A giant shadow moved across the rooftops. But no one bothered to go out of their houses. The villagers thought, no need to be in a hurry. We'll see what it is in the morning. And they all went back to sleep. The next day, the villagers found huge footprints all over their fields. Astonished, they stood around the mess for a long, long time. The mayor finally spoke. Could this be Big Nuisance? They had heard about the giant, but they had never seen him. Just as they began to follow the footsteps, a gushing torrent of water appeared and completely flooded the village. The drenched villagers conferred slowly. They decided to climb the eastern mountain to see where the water had come from. What did they find? There was Big Nuisance bathing his huge, smelly body in the large lake behind the mountain. Hey, Big Nuisance, said the mayor. We usually drink from that lake. Oh, really? Big Nuisance kept on scrubbing. After a long pause, the mayor asked gently, why don't you travel on? Well, I feel really comfortable here, said the giant. So I think I'll stay. Is there anything you want me to help you with? No, thanks. All right then. Suddenly, the ground shook and there was a strange sound in the pond. Rumble, bumble. A huge bubble of air rose slowly towards the surface and burst with a giant pop. It stinks! That's a fart! The villagers fled from the pond at a speed they had never managed before. Oh, no! The next day, Big Nuisance came down the mountain and sat in the field, looking at the village. Well, this place looks far too sleepy, he said. I think I'll make it more interesting. He scraped the ground with his fingers. The water in the river flowed into the lines, which soon became tumbling streams. Pleased with what he had done, Big Nuisance pulled up the village houses and placed them together on the high side of the village. The surprised and terrified villagers feebly begged him to stop, but Big Nuisance just did not hear them. And before they could do anything, their sleepy village had become a different place. After all this work, Big Nuisance was very tired, so he went back over the eastern mountain. For a month, the sound of his snoring shook the trees and houses, and the villagers found it hard to sleep. They became impatient and grumpy. Then one day, a small bird flew far above Big Nuisance. Just as it passed over the giant, the bird dropped a tiny seed from its beak. The seed fell slowly through the air, and it tumbled into Big Nuisance's ear, silently disappearing down his deep, dark earhole. After another month, just when the villagers' patience had reached its limit, the snoring stopped. Instead, they heard the pitiful sound of moaning. The curious villagers pondered and wondered what had happened. Eventually, they plodded slowly up the eastern mountain to have another look. A big tree filled their view. When did this tree grow here? The villagers asked. When they reached the top of the mountain, they found the tree was sticking out of Big Nuisance's ear. Please help me, he begged the villagers. It hurts too much for me to get it out. The villagers told Big Nuisance, this is a serious matter. We should go back to the village and talk it over. But Big Nuisance pleaded, no, it's too late for talk. The pain in my ear is unbelievable. I need you to pull it out right now. At first, the villagers thought they should leave him alone because he had done so much damage to the village and had indeed been a big nuisance. But in the end, they felt sorry for him and decided to help. The villagers tied many ropes to the tree and gradually started pulling. Slowly, 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 they chanted. By now, Big Nuisance was almost crying. Ow! That hurts! Please, please, do it in one go. Don't be slow this time. Then the man asked the giant, will you keep on being a nuisance once his tree is pulled out? No, I won't be a nuisance any longer, he said. Please hurry. Well, then we must give it one big yank. And for the first time in their lives, the villagers all worked together and pulled the rope hard. Go! The tree flew out of the giant's ear. It hurtled over the reluctant rescuers who were flung backwards and were sent tumbling down towards the village. Eek! The ear tree landed right on the roof of the sacred village temple. The shocked and bruised villagers wanted to cut the troublesome tree down, but a wise priest came and said, you should not hate this tree. If you look after it, it will bring you good fortune to you all. And sure enough, a year later, the ear tree began to produce many kinds of wonderful fruits. As soon as the villagers ate them, they felt very happy. The villagers found that the streams Big Nuisance had created brought fresh water to all the village fields. The houses he had placed on the hillside no longer stood in the water when a flood came. And what happened to Big Nuisance? He left the village and went far away. But was it really because he promised not to be a nuisance anymore? Many believe that Big Nuisance left because he was afraid of small birds dropping seeds. Even now, rumours come from faraway villages that the giant is still being just as big a nuisance today.